Michigan's short track racing authority is Horsepower Happenings.
Charlie Bauer, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Scotty Thiel, welcome to Horsepower Happenings.
John Beach, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Adam Terry, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Paul Pelletier,
Corbin Hazlett, Riley Knoll,
Matt Kemp, Dylan Stovall, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
From pavement to dirt, modifieds to sprint cars, hear from drivers, promoters, track owners, and many other industry leaders.
We worked on that car for 12 days straight, and when I got to the speedway Saturday, I was out of gas. I had to take a nap.
You're out there and, that groove, if you're outside of it, you could be a couple tenths off or even half a second off.
It is not the shock that you've won all these races. There's so many pieces to the puzzle to make these cars go fast.
I don't care what he says. I saw a thing on Facebook on somebody's post that's now been deleted that one of his crew guys said that the spotter told him car low and I wrecked him.
With over 50 years of experience from racing to management, here are Zach Heiser and Rich Brand.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome in to another episode of Horsepower Happenings. Huge show lined up for you tonight, so we got to get rolling. Here's what's happening in a Motor City Minute. In the world of NASCAR, it was time to go to Texas, Circuit of the Americas over the weekend. Tyler Reddick makes history 3 in a row in the NASCAR Cup Series. SVG in second, Christopher Bell third, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell round out the top 5. Elsewhere in the NASCAR world, SVG gets the win with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Shane Van Gisbergen, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, Corey Day, the top 5 there. And then in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, how about Lane Riggs getting the job done over Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, and Caden Honeycutt. In the world of Outlaws, they're back in action over the weekend at Volusia Speedway Park, and it was Sheldon Haudenschild who went to victory lane. They will race once again tonight back at Volusia. Other things going on, the ASCS wrapped up their weekend. It's been more than a weekend. They've been in central Arizona for quite some time, and finally it's all over. Levi Hilliard scores the win. Sam Haferteef Jr. wins the Sonoran Clash title at Central Arizona. Those things, so much more happening tonight on Horsepower Happenings. Good evening, welcome in. I'm Zach Heiser. Not Rich France yet again. I don't know, somehow got 2 weeks vacation. Cody Geyer joins us once again. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just enjoying springtime coming and getting closer to race season.
Yeah, it's been nice. We remain optimistic that we will get to race very soon. Cautiously optimistic. Do you think, is there another snowstorm brewing here before we get to go racing?
I mean, never say never.
Right.
I think the snow is for the most part done. I think it'll just be trying to dodge rain.
Yeah, optimistic. We'll see what happens. How about Autorama over the weekend? I know you didn't get a chance to go there, Cody, but my first time ever attending Autorama, and what a weekend of talking to race fans in general, talking to gearheads who've never really been to a circle track race, and really getting a chance to explain the in and outs of our sport. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to do that, Cody, but you start talking to somebody who has a vague understanding of circle track racing, or they follow Formula One or IndyCar or NASCAR. And then you start talking about what we do, and the amount of people that didn't realize that they can watch sprint car racing right here in the state of Michigan was really impressive, and surprising how many people didn't realize that it was right in their backyard.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of like a throwback to whenever local malls used to have race car shows at the beginning of the year. Get a chance to get your name out there, get the racetrack out there, try to bring new fans in. And Autorama is such a huge show there in Detroit. I mean, you got car enthusiasts from all over the country coming in for a weekend, and it's a great way to talk about the name of the Great Lakes Super Sprints and just short track racing in general.
And there were a lot of short track cars there. I say a lot. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, no, but more than I expected to be there. Kyle Mackey was there with his modified. We were there, obviously, with 2 sprint cars. Keegan Sabilo was there with his template late model. The Fitzpatrick family was there with their quarter midget. There was some exposure to circle track racing this weekend, which obviously is not a bad thing. Clash on the Coast is wrapped up. We'll talk with Oliver Hilliard coming up in a little while. He will be our final guest of the evening in the IMCA modified side of things. But how about it, Cody? Mike Vandermark Jr. by 4 points again. back-to-back Clash on the Coast champions, and gives Michigan something to brag about once again.
Yeah, he's made Northwest Florida Speedway and Clash on the Coast a second home the last couple years in the stock car. And really cool to see someone from our state going outside the region and put it on a show.
And what I think is also part of this, remember, several IMCA stock car guys went down there this year because Crystal and Mount Pleasant will be running IMCA stock cars this summer. So a great opportunity to go down there and test. And I think it just proved again that the racing in the IMCA stock car division is competitive and is very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, you see it in like Iowa, Nebraska, kind of like those plain states, and bringing the stock cars here to Michigan at tracks such as Crystal and Mount Pleasant that already put on really great shows as it is. It's going to be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, it is. All right, USCS Racing. We're trying to fly through news because we got 3 guests to get with tonight, so we got to keep the motor turning, if you will. USCS Racing over the weekend. Night number 1. Here's how the Mark Regional drivers did. Van Gurley Jr. finished in 3rd. Danny Smith, the Chillicothe, Ohio driver, finished in 4th. Corbin Gurley 7th, and Zane DeVault, who, by the way, went down there with a new team, going to Randerson Racing, teaming up with Rocky Anderson to drive the number 14 machine. They had an issue. They started on the front row of that feature, and I don't know if something broke or what happened, but 18th on night number 1. They absolutely rebounded on night number 2, Cody. Zane DeVault, 2nd. Runner-up right there behind Davey Franick, who swept the weekend. Then Danny Smith finished in 6th. Corbin Gurley consistently finishes 7th. And Van Gurley Jr. in the number 13 finishes 13th. Your thoughts on DeVault moving to Rocky Anderson's number 14?
I think it's going to be fun to watch. You know, Randerson Racing last year with Keith Sheffer ran up front throughout the year. Zane DeVault's been in the 410 scene with Lane Racing the past couple of years. So that seems like it could be a match made in heaven.
And the biggest question now, and I even had a chance to talk about it with some people over the weekend, is what happens with the Lane Racing number 4? It's been very quiet out of that camp, so we'll see if we can get a hold of Brett this week and figure out exactly what's going to go down with that ride. But with no Zane DeVault there, is it a potential open seat? Is this the end for Lane Racing? Are they just going to hit and miss? We don't know, but we'll try to find out. How about this, Cody? Northwood University, right here in Michigan, up there in Midland, Michigan, they announced today that they have officially entered into the world of motorsports business education for the fall of 2026. And that will be the introduction of a Motorsports Essential Workshop Series for current and new students. The release that was put out today says that this 3-part motorsports-focused workshop series provides students with high-level knowledge of an exciting industry, we know that very, very well, to help them choose the best educational and career pathway. They announced a launch of the Bachelor of Business Administration in Automotive and Mobility Studies, but here's the part that I really like: a concentration in motorsports management. Academic Vice President Dr. Kristen Stuhauer says, quote, "Motorsports is a sophisticated global business that demands strategic thinking, ethical leadership, and operational excellence. The BBA equips students with the business foundation and industry expertise to compete at the highest levels." Cody, this is exciting because we all know about Uno and the turning wrenches side of things. This gives people an opportunity to earn a degree in the side of things that even you and I and Noah and everybody are a part of, where we're managing certain parts of this industry that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, and especially in today's day and age where, Uno's a good pathway to get onto the mechanical side of things, whether it be NASCAR, IndyCar, so on. But there hasn't really been a motorsports focused way to get in on the business side. So it's nice that we get a program like this, and especially here in the state of Michigan. I mean, North Carolina is a few hours away. Indianapolis, not far at all in terms of IndyCar. So it's really cool that Northwood's doing this.
Yeah, so look for that details on their website, and we also shared that on our social media pages today as well, so check that out. Crystal Motor Speedway released its 2026 schedule of events, Cody. There's like just about plus or minus 962 events on their 2026 schedule. Did anything jump out at you? I know obviously we're going to go there with Great Lakes several times. Lightning Sprints will be there as well. Ironman late models, Dirt Car Summer National Hell Tour, Dan Soleil Memorial. The list goes on. What did you see from that schedule that you like?
Lots of late models, and it's going to be a big year at Crystal. Dan Soleil's back at Crystal once again, and that's one of those races where I haven't been able to make it to, but it always ends up on the list just in case.
I did the same thing. I put it in the JIC category for this year.
And then also the Hell Tour going back to Crystal. That race has received rave reviews the past couple years, and they're going back once again.
I love it. We'll have those details on Mark News coming up very soon as well. Just ran out of daylight today. My goodness, how quickly it went away. And then Tri-City announced their special dates. Now they were careful to say that this is not the complete 2026 schedule of events. These are just the special dates that they are willing to release. They've released some test and tune dates for April 1st and April 8th. April 15th also scheduled to be a test and tune. And all the way up there, Cody, they're going to try to open the season on Friday, April 24th, an early season opener up there in Midland. We don't ever see them open before May, but they're going to give it a whirl.
I mean, why not try it? Nobody else up there opens for at least another couple weeks after that. So good way to try to get ahead and maybe pick up a few cars.
Yeah, and also let's think about it. Attica Raceway Park is going to do the same thing in 2 weeks down in Ohio. You know, nobody ever thinks that they're ever going to get these races in March. But if they do, man, oh man, are they popular and are they busy?
Yeah, and Attica got, I think, 2 of the 3 March dates in last year. So it's worked out in the past.
And they got the first one in too, which I think is the important one. Sunshine, and it was like 50 degrees or something last year, so that's great. Elsewhere on the Tri-City schedule, sprints May 15th, fireworks display May 16th. They'll have some test and tune stuff throughout the week. June 12th, Great Lakes Super Sprints will be there. They've got a rear-wheel drive figure 8 planned for this season, another fireworks show on July 3rd. $10 grandstand night for a fan appreciation night on July 10th. And then September 4th, championship night for Tri-City Motor Speedway. So glad to see those special dates there as well. Great Lakes Lightning Sprints announced a schedule. And don't sleep on these Lightning Sprints, man. They are fun and they are cool to watch. Silver Bullet Speedway will open the season on 5/2 for the Great Lakes Lightning Sprints. And then we've got like 16. I didn't count them up before I posted it. We just put this thing together. Not just put it together, but got it put out. I think we're like at 16 or 18 dates for the Lightning Sprints, Cody. A really solid schedule. And one of the great things that I love about it, Ionia Fairgrounds back on the schedule for the Lightning Sprints. We're going to race at the fairgrounds again this year.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a good show. And then also you have some support events where the Great Lakes Lightning Sprints are on hand, whether it be with the GLSS or that June 19th date at I-96 when they're with IRA.
Yeah, that's going to be a great show too. So a lot of great shows for the Lightning Sprints. Traditional sprint schedule is out. That's going to be re-released tomorrow morning with a slight addition, another track going to be added to that schedule. Lightning Sprints is going to get the same thing. They're going to get a TBA filled in as well. So we'll have those details tomorrow. There is a really quick run through on the news this week as what's going on. Don't forget to sign up for the Mark News Weekly newsletter. You can do that at marknews.org and you'll get those headlines sent right to your email on Wednesday morning. Right now, we have to take a break. When we come back, a regular racer from around Michigan, and he's been with the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series for quite some time, and he's eyeballing another run at a championship and still maybe looking for that first win, believe it or not. Jimmy Tucker's coming up next. You're listening to the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. MarkNews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. It's our pleasure to welcome in our first guest tonight. And in our promo today, I kind of gave him a hard time, man. He's been racing all over the state of Michigan and all sorts of different stuff and has really found a home in template late model racing here over these last, gosh, I don't even know what it's been. Has it been close to 10 years? Jimmy Tucker, welcome into the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Not quite that many. I guess I probably should put a number on that, but it's been 6 or 7, I think, in the template world. But yeah, definitely a home and really enjoy the competition level it brings.
So I saw you over the weekend at Autorama. You were there. I think, were you giving Kyle some help or giving him a hard time?
Yeah, Kyle Mackey that spots for me took his modified up there, so we were there showing support and. Love Autorama. A couple of the crew guys and I usually go to that every year just to kind of check it out and see what's new and out there. Love the hot rod world, especially being from the Detroit side of the state.
Yeah, for sure. So I asked you, I said, well, what's the plan? That there's an off season, there's an opportunity for something to change. And you seem committed to this template late model thing. You're still searching for that first win. I have to bring that up every time that you and I talk. But you were so close last year. You had several good runs, and I think about that Auto City race where if just one thing goes a different way, you're really right there in contention to win. Talk about that template program that you've built over these last 7 or so years.
Yeah, so originally I kind of got into the template world driving for John and Barb Steininger, so it wasn't my program. In the more recent years, we've kind of shifted it over to my side of stuff and in a family operation. I couldn't do it without my family. They're a huge help in all of that and with the support. But again, it's kind of grew out of some of the local stuff and just was up for the challenge of traveling, and with the the tour being kind of a Midwest thing, it just made a lot of sense. Again, we've got a ton of support from the Van Dorn Racing Development Network and some of our other partners and sponsors that we have that allow us to do so. So just kind of grown into a home there and really enjoy it.
Yeah, and when you're not racing, or maybe sometimes when you do, you're also crew chiefing for various Van Dorn cars. Just how do you balance the two?
It really helps. It's a huge asset that's probably underutilized. If I'm not the one in the seat, it's definitely, gaining information and, just another resource to be able to try stuff and to kind of stay fresh on it. It's not just the practice and the repetitions of the driving stuff. The racing world evolves week to week and, month to month, there's always the latest and greatest or a new theory out there, or kind of a pathway that we're taking when it comes to setups or parts or anything of that nature. So it's always good to stay on top of it and just be at the racetrack.
And how did you just get started into crew chiefing?
A lot of it started through the Van Dorn development stuff. Back in the day, it was kind of partnering with with Butch and John when they were a lot smaller than they are now, and working with the Moran Motorsports Outlaw team with Frank Giovanni driving. Kind of got my start there, and then got into the template world with Michael Simcoe, and spent a few years with him. And then won the championship with Hunter Jack. And again, I've had the opportunity to do everything from Colorado to Florida and LA and Irwindale and everything in between. So it's been a great resource to have, and the Van Dorn network is more like a family. The information sharing and competitive nature just within that bunch is awesome.
I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and they were talking about and I'm going to put it this way, it's not their words, it's my words. I mean, Van Dorn Racing Development all of a sudden has a stranglehold on template late model racing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's the reality right now. Almost all of the template cars that are running up front right now seem to be Van Dorn's. And I don't necessarily think that's coincidence. What have you guys figured out about racing up here? Because I know when I talked to John a couple of years ago, it was like, okay, we've got the North figured out. Now we need to branch into another region. What is it about up here that you guys have just...
I think it's just overall the resources. Again, Butch and Johnny have put so much, time and effort into those things with different avenues, with the TK racing program and, R&D racing with the 131 team and just a multitude of different things. There's so many different, house car programs that are ran out of there. And just, again, the information sharing and kind of the family all for one, effort that goes into those things is, unmatched across the industry. I think that's what really sets them apart from, some of the other chassis manufacturers where it's I don't want to say a pay to play environment, but, some of that information is kept probably a little bit closer to the vest. I think that, John and Butch have really committed to, not only the big stuff and trying to make a presence down south, but, the blue collar racer. And that's really where, the pro series up here and the Berlin stuff, you see the success and not only the national stage, I guess you could call it, right, with Austin's win in Berlin last year. I think that's really, really cool for
even various late model sportsman programs too, right?
Absolutely. That's kind of where the Jack Attack ended up. Obviously winning the championship with Hunter. I've got a good relationship with those guys too. Same thing. They've built some really great notes kind of across the board, and whether it be the Owasso stuff, some of the Winchester stuff, they've done a really good job to kind of diversify their portfolio. To your point, whether it be the outlaw stuff, whether it be the sportsman stuff, template stuff. Obviously, the partnership with Bubba Pollard now too is probably pretty publicized nationally. So it's a good thing for all.
What is and I ask you this because you do have this balance of driver, crew chief, and association to the manufacturer. How do you handle the egos, man? I know that's got to be a tough part of it. If somebody doesn't feel like they're getting, I mean, let's be honest, we've heard people start, that's why changes are made, is because they feel slighted in one avenue, one way or another. So how has Van Dorn managed that? Because there's a lot of egos in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, that's racing. I don't know that you're ever going to balance racers. You're never going to make a racer happy, right? You could lead every lap and, it's still probably not good enough if you don't win by a lap. And that's just part of it. I mean, that's the business, I think that's any business, and that's the competitive spirit that keeps us all coming back to the racetrack week after week and year after year. So, I don't know that you'll ever totally get rid of that. Again, I can say that they've been great for me, and they've been great for what they've built. Hats off to those guys.
Yeah, and going back to your driving stuff, last year showed some speed. Just sometimes the luck just wasn't there. Just how do you feel last season went, and what did you learn for this year?
Well, we blew up a motor in practice at the first race. So
Toledo, man, God dang.
Yeah, so that kind of derailed, what we were going to do as far as, running the whole thing last year. But it's kind of been the story of, the last couple of years. We had some good runs, sat on the pole at Anderson, showed really well at Flat Rock, and just kind of had some bad luck and stuff like that. The little $2 parts have never seemed to fail us more than the last couple of years, or just, wrong place, wrong time. And, we've been there. And I think the saving grace again is to your point, we've had speed. That's been, the part that keeps us coming back every week. I want to make sure that we're competitive. And, again, thanks to my family and sponsors and the Van Dorns, like we are every week. I got John here helping me in the shop a couple nights a week. I mean, it's an army that takes to kind of get this thing going and be up there. But I think the speed is what really keeps us coming back every week. So hopefully we can finally knock that off this year.
And looking at the schedule for what's now the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series this year, go back to Flat Rock and, of course, Owasso, and then go back to Jennerstown. Just what are some of the races you're eyeing this year?
All of the above. I think, Jennerstown's definitely one that's a love-hate relationship over the years there. The last time we were there on Hoosier tires, we finished third, I think, to Josh Brock and Cody Coughlin. So looking forward to getting back to that place. That's one of my favorite racetracks in the country. Birch Run, we've always ran pretty well at. Love to go back there. And then Flat Rock's home. We had a very, very fast car there last year, and, things just didn't fall our way the way everything kind of fell out. But, we've got some great notes to go back to. And I'd say that's probably the one that we're really looking forward to getting back to the most.
What about IRP, man? That's been off the schedule for a while. Do you have any laps around that place?
I did. I do. We went there the last time. That was actually the last race that I drove for a different manufacturer as far as chassis go. So
the notebook is irrelevant.
Yeah, the notebook's irrelevant. Great place. Can't wait to get back there. I think that's a place you'll really see who's comfortable with speed. I mean, that's a driver's racetrack. You're able to move around quite a bit there, and it's definitely hammered down there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, I want to say thanks to our sponsor real quick. This interview is presented by Independence Heating and Cooling, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. Right now with Independence Heating and Cooling, when you do a home furnace replacement, you'll get a Wi-Fi in-home thermostat for free. Now, listen, I know I said furnace. It's still March, people. It's still Michigan. We got another one coming, don't we, Jimmy? You've lived here long enough.
Oh, yeah, at least one more.
Yeah, so here's the deal, right? Your furnace took a beating this winter with as cold as it was. Have it inspected. See if you're going to need a new one. Get it taken care of. When you mention the Horsepower Happenings podcast, you'll get that free in-home thermostat, FREE free. Call 517-425-0224. That's 517-425-0224. And you can visit them online at ihcpros.com. Independence Heating and Cooling, Southern Michigan's Bryant dealer. Bryant, whatever it takes. Cody, what else you got for Jimmy?
So your helmet is a tribute. One of my favorite helmets I saw last year. Just tell us about it.
Yeah, so kind of stole the idea, when Jimmy Johnson was, winning his and trying to tie all the records for different wins. He kind of did a different scheme every week. So I love the one that had kind of the picture collage on it. So it's kind of just a tribute to my family's history in racing. My dad's side of the family sponsored, all kinds of cars, and owned different cars and different facets, whether it be my uncles or Ray Neese or even Benny Parsons, kind of throughout the years at Mount Clemens. So just some different ones, race victories and different Jim's Catering cars throughout the years. It's got a picture of my uncle on there. From when he raced at Mount Clemens Racetrack. My other Uncle T, he's on there as well. So just kind of a family tribute helmet and just something cool, something different. Finally did have to retire that this year. So
no.
Yeah. Looking, at least I get to look at it every day now in the trophy case. That's kind of always been my thing is helmets. I love them. I think it's just a driver's way to kind of be unique outside of the constraints of a car. So looking forward to pulling out the new one here for Toledo.
That thing was so cool too. And we'll post a picture of it this week on Horsepower Happenings, but the collage and the orange and the visor and the face of the helmet. I mean, that thing was sick, man. Are you going to do another helmet? Are you going to have another helmet done up in some way?
Yeah. So I actually just got it back. I wish I had it here. I would have showed you. Maybe I can send you guys some pictures, but
sure.
Kind of a tribute to a good night that we had at the go-kart track. with Claude Plant back in the day. So there's a story behind that one. I'll have to come back and share one day.
You mentioned the family's tied to Mount Clemens. You said Flat Rock is home. I remember you and I talked as I was getting ready for the Auto City race last year in the Mudslinger 100. What was it like to go back to that place? That was part of your early career as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, spent a lot of Saturday nights up there with my dad. Kind of growing up, that was always the racetrack I went to with him. There was an era there where he almost purchased the Speedway for a while. But really enjoyed that place. Auto City was always great. The Mudslinger back in the day, the Steve Sauves, the Junior Doors, running up there, the Thunder trucks, that was always one of the coolest things that I thought when I was a kid, the Corvette pace car. I mean, they had so many just nostalgic things up there. They did a great job. Spectator drags, that was like childhood for me. Is really where I remember going the most, is probably Auto City.
Yeah. And go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
And Auto City, not, in the last few years being more focused on like the 4-cylinder stuff. Just how cool was it to be able to race there last year with the Pro Tour?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. Again, it was really a homecoming for me. That was where I actually made my debut in the Jag Series way back in the day. So, really enjoyed their racing there, throughout the years, whether it be modifieds or, the template stuff. Just cool, racy racetrack. One of the few places where, we've been spoiled as race car drivers these last couple of years, with these repave racetracks, but just a racetrack with some character that you can move around and run some different lines. And I think that's where you saw some of the battles, the 2 wide battles, and you could kind of run the top and, just a racy place. Really enjoyed being there.
All right. I'm going to get into some of the weeds, I guess, a little bit about your team. Talk about working with Kyle. He obviously is a racer himself. He runs that modified. He's going to be upset at me that I had you on the show before him. Especially because he won some hardware over the weekend. Kyle, your time's coming, my friend. I promise. But what is that relationship like with him, and how important is the guy in your ear to your race day with these 100+ lap races that you're running?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a friendship and a bond that we built, away from the racetrack too. He's spotted for me every race that I've been in a late model, except for one, I believe. Throughout my career. So it's been awesome to just have that consistent voice. And, he's done a good job kind of committing to our program, and we've helped his modified stuff as well. When we can. So he's got some exciting things going on that side of the fence this year. And, it's good to have the same person and just to be able to trust, what they got going and kind of be able to read the tones when he's getting a little anxious,
Sure.
Kind of like, towards the end of that Auto City race, he was definitely
man. I thought you had a shot there too, dude. Did you?
I did. I think in retrospect and watching it back, I guess I probably should have stayed up top and rolled the top in 3 and 4. That's where we were good. But I knew that I could probably get to Billy, but I couldn't do it clean. And I've just got so much respect for the Van Meters, and they've helped me throughout my career and things that I've done. I spent a lot of time with that race team. The last few years, kind of traveling the country and running the ASA tour, and was Billy Spotter driver coach for a while. And it's not the point of racing if you can't do it clean.
I saw the opportunity when you guys went into 3 the one time, and I thought this could be a real interesting meeting on Monday, depending on how this plays out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, so on that note, what do you feel like you guys, do you feel like you're missing anything? Is it just a little luck? I mean, what do you think? Because you gotta do some self-evaluation in this sport. What do you think's holding you back from getting to victory lane with CRA?
That's a great question. I mean, it's the most competitive series that we have here in the Midwest. So, I mean, that's part of it. I think that, for, a team like mine with the resources we have available, and, we don't have anybody full time or anything like that. I think that, we've had some runs that we can really, say, hey, that's good. Again, I'd love to check that off the bucket list. And we've made some, some investments, this off season to, get us to where we need to be. We've got a new Van Dorn car, latest and greatest kind of stuff. So hopefully that's part of it. But I think away from the racetrack too, the simulator stuff, that's where a lot of these guys and these kids have these advantages, is the Keelan Harvicks of the world are racing 50 times a year, where, I got to go to work tomorrow morning. So
yeah,
it's a little different animal when it comes to that. But, it's the world we live in, and you got to kind of change and adapt to that, or you're going to get passed by. So, we're doing some stuff over here and on our side of the fence. And again, I feel really great about the VRD program kind of going into this year and the momentum they've got and shown already this spring here in the races down south. So, I think we could be able to finally, hopefully, check that off.
I love that. Before we let you go, Doug Van Ness is in our comment section here on Facebook, and he asked about prepping for Kalamazoo. What was your take on Kalamazoo last year?
That place is awesome. I didn't drive there. I was actually crew chief and spotting for Eddie Van Meter and his retirement tour / hey, he wants to dabble a little bit here and there. But
yeah,
I've only raced there myself once way back in the day. And I really wish I would have taken my car there. And, that's just a great racetrack. That's just all there is to it. I wish they would, bring back the Clash and just some of the exciting battles that they've had there over the years. It's an awesome place, cool facility. There's not a racetrack where you get like the Coliseum feel.
That's pretty close, isn't it?
In short track racing, that's the fans are damn near right on top of the racetrack. So that place is cool. It's hopefully they bring that back soon.
Well, last thing from me, where do you think you've got the best shot this year? Where do you see that 22 car challenging for another win, or for a win, another challenge to be up front, right?
Yeah. I'm going to say, I think Flat Rock's the easy answer, but I'm going to say Birch Run. We've always had good speed there. We've had some unfortunate stuff there over the years as far as bad luck and just, some unfortunate stuff happen, but, love the place. It's right here in our backyard. So maybe a little home
similarities
field
to Auto City too, man. They're different on each end of the racetrack.
Yeah, racy place. So I'm looking forward to going there. I'll have to say I can't say that for the last few times that we've been there, but I think we've got something for them. Again, similar to Auto City. I'll say I'm going to circle that one and say that's where we're going to do it.
All right, and also mentioned earlier in the show, looking forward to going to Jennerstown. So that'd be cool. If you like going somewhere, why not win there too? That's great. So
absolutely.
Jimmy, appreciate you making time to be on the show for us tonight, man. Good luck this year with the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series. We'll be keeping an eye on it.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we get into March is Michigan Motorsports History Month, presented by Sweet Manufacturing. Jeff Bloom is coming up on the other side. You're listening to the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advance tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at owassospeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. It is our pleasure now to get into our first interview of the month as part of March's Michigan Motorsports History Month, presented by Sweet Manufacturing. It's our pleasure to welcome in class of 2000 inductee into the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame and several other Hall of Fames. We'll talk about that more coming up. Jeff Bloom, welcome into Horsepower Happenings, sir.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I got to tell you, your wife, when we talked last 2 months ago, I guess it's been, she said, well, you better have Jeff on the show at some point. So this is her fault, okay? I want you to know that.
Okay. I blame her for other things anyways.
That's right. That's right. You're looking at your 60th consecutive year racing, which is just absolutely unbelievable to me. I mean, there are a lot of people who are not blessed to live 60 years, let alone race 60 years. Just when you look back at your career, do you feel that gratitude that you still get to race 60 years later? I mean, just talk about your mindset as you get ready for this season.
I really don't feel any different than I did 20 years ago. I'm working on the car, do everything, and get it ready to go racing. That's what you do in the spring.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I've done for all these years.
So how old are you, Jeff? I'm going to ask you the question. We're all men here, so I can ask.
76.
70. So let me see here. 16 years old, you get started racing. Take me back 60 years ago. What are you getting ready to race, and how does this come to be?
Well, first of all, my dad raced. So I went to my first race at 6 weeks old. And I've been hooked ever since. And we started, and he retired. He actually got cancer and he retired, but he lived through it. And then in 67, I started running super modifieds. They were called modifieds. They didn't have big blocks in them or anything, but they were small blocks and open wheel modifieds. And it's basically, I won my first actual sprint car race in 69. And I've won a sprint car race in 7 consecutive decades.
Wow. What an accomplishment. So I guess I'll go right for it. That little 500, as a rookie in the race, Take me back to that. Did that event have as much prestige then as it feels like it does now? And what were the times like when you were racing in that little 500?
Well, it was different back then because you qualified 2 weeks ahead of time prior to the race. Then you run a 50 lapper that night. And I started back. I didn't qualify real well, but I ended up fourth in the race. And I told my dad after the race, I said, we're going to be okay because I could run just as hard the 50th lap as I did the first lap. And I said, so, when the little 5 comes, we're going to be okay. And it basically, that's what I did in a race is I just stayed out of trouble. I have a mindset that if you got 2 guys racing together, I back up 2 or 3 car lengths from them, give me room if something happens. And on that little racetrack, it can happen very quick. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, were they starting 33 cars at that point?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just as wild.
Back then, they had 45 or 50 cars qualify
Wow.
to make the race, more than they do today. But it really wasn't much different. I guess I want to say the biggest difference back then to now is money.
Sure.
The big money teams. It's hard to compete with them. It makes it really tough to try to be competitive with all the dollars that these teams are spending nowadays.
When did you realize as a rookie, sorry, Cody, I just wanted to get back to this first little 500 start. When did you realize, so you said that the car was good, but that you guys had a legitimate shot to go out and win that race in your first try?
Really before the race started.
Wow.
I mean, I know a good friend of mine, Ray Wright, which he's passed away, but he's the one we used to go hunting and fishing together, and he talked me into building a sprint car to run that race, to start with that race. And that was only the 3rd actual sprint car race I ever ran.
Wow.
And it just was one of them things that, I mean, through the week, as the weekend, of course, we had 2 weeks in between, you go through and you prep stuff for basically a long distance race, and I mean, I just felt all the way along that we were going to run really well. I didn't say I had, a real good chance of winning, because at that race, you got to have luck to win. That's for sure.
Yeah. And that's hard to predict, right?
No, you can be the fastest car by far. And still, I mean, I've had it happen several times in that race that we should have won and something happened, Excuse me.
Yeah. You also won the Little 500 in 1977 and then again in 1991. Just which out of those 3 Little 500 wins was your favorite?
Well, it's got to be 91. It's a short, quick story. We had a van conversion business, and we sold it, and we got taken for $400,000.
Oh no!
And our lawyer told us, don't pay any bills right away, just wait. Well, like a week before the Little 500, we got a notice from the mortgage company said that they're going to take over payments. They're going to take over the house within 2 weeks. So I basically had to win the race to pay for everything. So picture went away.
Well, that worked out pretty well then. That was good timing then.
Yes, it was. And
a lot of people will say that they got to win to pay for groceries. You had to win to pay for a roof over your house.
Absolutely.
A roof over your head. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many different stories. I mean, and that race there, 25 laps into the race, I spit the brake pucks out of the rear caliper, but I have an adjustment in it, and I run 2 different holders for brake fluid. Of course, it spit the one right out. I just turned and cranked the brakes 100% to the front and ran the rest of the race with just front brakes.
Wow.
which that's hard to do on pavement, I'm telling you, but you got to drive accordingly.
And then how has the little 500 and just how you approach the race changed from when you first won it in 1972 to now?
Well, nowadays you have to stand on the gas the whole race. You can't take it easy. I mean, in 72, my strategy was to run the first 300 laps fairly easy. I mean, stay up with them, but fairly easy. Don't hustle the car, and then race for 200 laps. Nowadays, you have to run 500 laps wide open.
When was your last little 500? I know that last year you guys were searching for funding and help to try to attempt to make the race. When was your last 500?
2 years ago, I
Yeah.
ran a number 32 car guy out of Biloxi, Mississippi, and we started a race, and I really didn't get the car. We didn't qualify good. I didn't get the car running. I changed high-speed bypass on it, which was something to change after qualifying, and it came to life. The motor was good, but I went like 40 laps into the race, and it started dropping oil pressure. And I pulled it in, told the guy, I mean, I drove it like it was mine. I mean, you know,
That's
what
you got to do.
if it was my car, I'd pulled in. You know, I'm not going to run it till it blows up for him. You know.
What I thought was really cool in my research today is some 19 years ago and 35 years after your first little 500 win, you end up on the front row in 2007. This race is just, you've really been good at this race all the time. It seems like if you've got a car that'll hunt, you're in it. What is it about Anderson and this little 5 that has been so conducive to you?
Well, one thing is I like the high banks. I like Winchester, Salem, and I like the high banks, and you just can really force the car in a corner, I guess is the way I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, it just is. That's just the way it is.
At 70 some odd years old that we just talked about a little while ago, do you still feel like you are just as fast now as you were? You said you don't feel any different about the way you prepare as you did 20 years ago. You must still be very confident in your ability behind the wheel.
That part I'm totally in tune with. The biggest thing is lack of funding to have the pieces and parts against the competitors I race against. That's the whole ball of wax. If I had $100,000 behind me, I guarantee you I'd have the right motor, the right stuff, and I'd be running up front.
That's tough. And I know there's a lot of race car drivers out there that feel that way too. Has it changed significantly over these 60 years that you've been racing at how important money has become?
Oh, totally. Totally. And it's really, I would say probably the last 10 years has become more dominant. Is money dominates instead of talent.
Yeah. Cody?
Well, I want to look back in your racing career and just looking at your bio on Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame website. And it says you were you competed in the Pocono 500 IndyCar race at Pocono in 1981 in a Silver Crown car. Just tell us about how that happened.
Well, the difference back then, 81, is when CART and USAC split. USAC didn't have enough rear engine cars to fill the field. So they called up like 9 guys with Silver Crown cars, and Ray and Sissy Smith called me up. They knew I had run USAC stock cars on Super Speedway. I had run Super Speedway stuff before. So they called me up and we went there and set the car up. I set the car up just like I was going to race Winchester, other than stagger. Because at that track we only had 0.3 of an inch of stagger. And other than that, I mean, and we were by far the fastest car. After the race, the police officer, state police officer, come up to me after the race, after we were interviewed with Foyt up in the tower. He come down there and said he had clocked me at the end of the front straightaway. And I don't know if you're, Pocono, it's from here to Indianapolis. The straightaway is super long. But anyways, he got me at 192 mile an hour at the end of the straightaway.
Wow.
But it didn't feel like it. I mean, I had to do a little bit of changing. I had to put a deflector on the roll cage across in front of me. The first hot lap session I went out, well, the very first hot lap session I went out, I went to fire up. I was one of the first ones out. We come off at turn 2, and here stands 5 deer in the middle of the racetrack. So obviously they threw the red flag, got them out of there. And then when I did get to go out, and the first time I really picked the throttle up through 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, or whatever you want to call them, or 5 and 6.
Yeah, however you count them.
However you count them, right. I come down the front chute, and all of a sudden, I had to back off. I could not hold my head up. The wind blew my head back so far I couldn't see where I was going. So I had to go. I drove for Lyle Roberts and the Roberts boys in the sprint cars.
Okay.
Well, they had their Silver Crown car there, and they had Bill Tyler in it. Anyways, we had nothing to make a deflector. So they went out and found a camper out in a parking lot and infield, and took the tin snips and cut a chunk of aluminum out to make a deflector. So I don't know whoever that ever was. I never heard anything, but
yeah, they probably didn't know where to send the bill. They do now.
Exactly. Yeah, well, it worked. I mean, it deflected the air to where you could drive in the car and see.
Wow. And imagine doing something. Imagine a mechanic or an engineer, as they call them now, from IndyCar today, going out and robbing parts off of an RV to make the car go down the racetrack. Oh, never in a million years.
Never. And I'm sure it's not been done before, but
hey,
you never. No, it worked.
It worked.
And actually, I was running 5th in the race when the engine blew, and that was. Go ahead.
No, I was good. Go ahead and finish.
Well, it was plain and simple. They didn't run an air filter on them, and there's so much grit and sand on the racetrack. It went down and wiped the rings and bearings out of the motor.
Do you feel like, can you think back to, what was it, Cody, 82? Is that right?
81.
81. Do you think, can you remember back? Do you have a car that could have won that race?
No.
Okay.
Foyt was in the rear engine car, was much faster. I mean, he ran 186 mile an hour average, and I was running 160 mile an hour average.
Oh, that's tough. That's a lot.
So you're not gonna be competing unless it broke.
Right.
Well,
I want to take a time out and say thank you to Sweet Manufacturing. They have supported this project for the last 4 years of having March be Michigan Motorsports History Month. So all 4 weeks here on the Horsepower Happenings podcast, we'll dedicate an interview to a member of the Michigan Motorsports Hall of Fame. And all throughout the month, we will review the biographies of Michigan Motorsports Hall of Famers over on the Michigan Area Racing Connection page and at marknews.org. So we thank you, Sweet Manufacturing, for your support. Don't forget, it is rebuild season. You're running out of time to get those things rebuilt for the upcoming season. And if you're looking at your budget for this year going, oh man, we got to take care of some safety stuff, we got to get tires, check out the scratch and dent section at sweetmanufacturing.com. That's sweetmanufacturing.com, or call them at 269-344-2086. I want to talk about, and maybe this isn't the one, but it's the one I'm going to ask about, and we can go from there, Jeff. Back in 2016, it looks like the summer of 2016, you take a bad tumble in that wing car, and actually broken sternum, X-rays, knees, the whole thing. That was a rough one. Was that a crash where you had to consider if this was something you wanted to keep doing?
Nah.
No. I figured as much, but I had to ask.
The 2012 crash and fire was worse than that one.
Well,
The one,
that's
the
what I
16
wondered. When you start looking at the hard hits in these sprint cars, it's tough to know which one's worse. So yeah, talk about those two.
Well, the biggest thing on the 2012 one is I got burnt, and it took forever to heal. That was the biggest thing. I didn't break any bones. It crushed my pancreas, and I became a type 1 diabetic from that wreck.
No kidding.
And yeah, yep. And then getting burnt. So that took longer to heal. The one in the 16th, the throttle stuck. I actually injected the throttle plate and ejector broke and fell down going down the straightaway and held it wide open. And of course, it wasn't much fun hitting the wall, but
no, I would imagine not.
But that broke my back and my sternum and my right knee. So that actually did more damage. But I hit the wall backwards in the 2012 one. In the seat, there's no give. So you didn't have to worry about the belt stretching, nothing. You just flat. There's no give hitting the wall backwards.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Neither one of those. I mean, your intention was to heal and to get back in the race car each time.
Oh yeah. Well, I had another bad one. I don't know if you knew, I run USAC stock cars too.
Yeah.
And 76 in the
this almost leads into the question that somebody, Robert Biggie, asked, what's it like being married to your crew chief? This might seem like the time to ask that question because I can hear it right now. I think the car needs this. No, you need to do this. What is the relationship like between you two at the racetrack?
Basically, she takes care of the fuel and the stagger. I tell her what I want. She does the stagger, does the air pressures, does all that, changes tires, whatever we got to do, and fuel. And she controls the fuel and stuff. I do the chassis setups and stuff. But anyways, I was going to tell you about this
the stock car
race.
Yeah.
I was running third in that race, a 500 miler, and blew a right front tire going into 3, hit the wall head on at 200 mile an hour. And when they got me out of the car, I wasn't breathing and my heart wasn't beating.
Oh no.
They got me going, went to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital, flew home the next day. And 5 days later, I finished second in the USAC sprint car race at Winchester.
Wow.
and the guys had to lift me up and set me in the car because my feet and legs were all beat up in black and blue from hitting the pedals and stuff when I hit the wall.
They don't make them like you anymore, do they?
Not very many of them. No.
Cody, I've been hogging the airtime. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I think of you, I think about you and what you've done in the open wheel rates, but also having also ran in the USAT stock car rates, you're one of 4 drivers that have won in all the sprint cars, Silver Crown, and stock car, and that's along with names like AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti. So just how was it like running with all the various USAC divisions then with names that are internationally known?
You know what? Those people, when you're a driver and you're racing with them, excuse me, they're just like normal people. I mean, I don't look up to them. They don't look up to me. You have mutual respect, but you're out there to do one thing, and that's to beat them. So
who's to say Jeff Bloom doesn't beat AJ Foyt a couple of times? Maybe Jeff Bloom's the AJ Foyt of the world.
Well, let me tell you what, there was a couple times it was close.
Yeah.
I had a race at Trenton, New Jersey this is in the stock cars. It was a split show with the Indy cars. And we he was quick time and I was third quick, and we took off and left everybody else. And I worked and worked and worked. It was like 45 laps into the race. And I'd go through 1 and 2, start on the high side, and he'd block. And I'd go down, and he'd block. So like on the 45th lap, I snookered him. I started up and then headed down. And of course, I don't know if anybody knows, Trenton had a dog leg to the right, had a 45-degree corner to the right, halfway down the back chute. Well, I was dead beside him, going down the back chute. When we come to the dog leg, the body roll on my car rolled the tire off the wheel, and I went spinning down through the infield. And had I known, I wouldn't have had to even try it, because he went 3 laps later and dropped a valve.
Oh no!
So I could have coasted,
yeah,
and won that race. But you know what? You never know.
Never know.
And again, I'm out there to race, and whether it's AJ Foyt or Parnelli Jones or a good friend of ours, Jim Hurtubise, it don't matter. You went there to race to beat them, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're about out of time. We could keep going forever, obviously, with the career that you've had. But I want to get to some Facebook comments and some questions that our listeners have proposed today. First of all, I want to get to our live question that said, besides the little 500s, what is, if you can narrow down one, the most important race that you've won for you?
I don't know that I can just
name one. Yeah.
I don't know if I can name one. I mean,
are the little 5s up there at the top?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're there. I mean, winning, like you say, with USAC stock cars, winning the Silver Crown cars. I mean, I don't know. It's
28 seconds.
I imagine you race to win. So, I mean, if you can accomplish the win, you know, that's what you're out there to do. You're glad to do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. You know, and it's funny you say that, because I watch these guys, they win, they get out of the cars and they jump up and down on the roof or on the wing and shout and scream. You know, guys, that's what you're paid to do. It isn't that big a deal, you know?
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, Mark commented earlier today. He said, ask Jeff about his fender days at Galesburg. It's the first place I remember seeing him race.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I won 7 features that year at Galesburg. It was in 1973. I drove for actually a friend of mine that lived in Elkhart, Herb Kurtz. Probably guys that's been racing would know of that name.
Sure.
And Herb had a car. He had Bob Carnes drive it the year before, and he called me up and wanted to know if I'd drive it for the year. And like I said, I ended up won 7 races with it. I won a 300 lapper at Hartford Speedway. So we did pretty good in it.
And then I got to correct it. It was Rusty Daggett who asked what it was like to be married to your crew chief. So that's a great question, Rusty.
Gotcha.
Gary Lindahl is going to ask this question because he's probably going to use it on a Did You Know segment. Why 26 for the cars that you drove for yourself?
That was my dad's number.
Oh, it's a great reason. It's a great reason. And finally, Dave Deham asks, who's the largest influence for you, Ben, over these years? Like somebody that you've looked up to or that you've learned a lot from?
Right. Well, it had to be my parents to start with. That they got me started in it. Excuse me. But the last 52 years, it's my wife, because she's my mechanic and support her, and you know, she goes to all the races and helps all the time.
Yeah. All right. The burning question that Rich would have asked about 3 times already if he were in this interview today. How much longer, Jeff? How much longer can you keep doing this?
Until my eyesight goes bad, until my reflexes go bad, or I just flat can't walk and get in and out of a car. Well, I mean, why should I, you know, it's what I know. It's what I've done. And as long as I can be competitive, I'm not going to be Dale Jarrett and run at the tail all the time and be satisfied just to run at the tail.
Sure. Tri-state sprints this year?
Yeah, for sure. Must see. I don't know. I'm looking at some of that the million deal, but the biggest problem is I just don't have the money. And boy, if you know anybody that wants to sponsor a race car, let me know.
Reach out. We'll give you the crew chief's number, okay? And we'll get you
Yeah,
guys
there
in
you go.
touch. Yeah. So, Jeff, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much for making time for us. And thanks for all you do for this sport. I know you probably would just tell me, oh, I'm just a race car driver. But, man, you've made some history, and we're glad to have access to you. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we talk with Oliver Hilliard. He's still down in Florida. He ran in the Clash on the Coast over the weekend. That's straight ahead on the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advanced tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. We're moving the chess pieces under commercial break, and we're going to be doing a lot of that coming up this weekend. We are headed to Corunna for the 8th annual, I think 8th, Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club Bowling Tournament, and it'll be live on the Horsepower Happenings page and the Mark Michigan Area Racing Connection page as we broadcast from the Michigan Area Racing Fan Club, Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club Bowling Tournament coming up on Saturday, March 7th. Come on out, harass, I think, Cody, is Cody going to be there?
I'll be there.
Harass Cody, harass Noah. I think there's going to be Anthony's going to be out there. We know Anthony from GLSS. Harass him and help us raise some money for that fan club benevolent fund. So there's that promo. Another promo. How about this guy from the IMCA modified ranks, fresh off the Clash on the Coast? Oliver Hilliard, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Enjoying the nice weather.
Yeah, I bet, man. Zoo today, you said?
Yeah, we went to the Golf Breeze Zoo. It was like 76 degrees. It's about a 30-minute drive for us, but it is nice.
Okay. All right. Well, I was happy that we had sun today, so I'll take that. You know, we had some sunshine up here. Man, I wanted to get you on the show. I'll be completely honest. I hadn't heard much about you, and then I saw that you were going to Florida, and I was like, man, I want to keep up with what this guy's doing. And Florida was tough for a lot of people, I think, this year, unless your name was Mike Vandermark and you were running a stock.
Right.
He did well, but I guess let's start with Florida and we'll kind of work our way back, man. The decision to go, right? That's a big undertaking to go down there and run this Clash on the Coast for a lot of different reasons. How'd you guys land on going down there this year?
We actually went last year and I was in a different chassis. I loved it last year. And then this year, the fiance decided she wanted to extend our stay by an extra week. So we figured we'd come down here, race. And then this week, we're actually on our family vacation now, but I thought it was fun. I think it's a great event that Peyton puts on, and I think it's pretty family oriented for the most part. This year, I know they didn't do a couple things that we kind of hoped they did, but next year, I'm sure they'll be right back at it.
Yeah, weather played a part in a lot of things I know this year. So let's start with that, right? I mean, you're looking at leaving on Wednesday, Thursday, probably, I'm guessing, and you're seeing this weather forecast. Is it questioning the decision at all? I mean, maybe not because you had a vacation planned afterward, but I mean, how stressful was that kind of watching the weather and thinking about what they're going to do?
It was a little bit different this year. So I know like last year, we decided to just take my pickup truck and haul my race equipment down with that. And then this year we hauled all of our stuff down here with a 32-foot motorhome. So right out of the gate, leaving Houghton Lake, I think we had a quarter inch of freezing rain already on the road that morning. We drove right through it, took our time a little bit, but I would say now it was worth it. Luckily, we made it safe. Everything went smooth.
So you were second guessing it there for the first hour and a half or so.
Yeah, for a little while. So I was considering pushing back the leave time, but that morning I said it doesn't matter if it takes us 8 hours to get out of the state of Michigan. We just got to clear this state and then it's sunshine.
Yeah, for sure. Cody?
Yeah, and it's what's like looking at my race pass, it's 8 nights of racing at 3 different tracks. For some drivers, that's 2 months worth of racing. So just how big is it to be able to go down there and get that much racing in before the season even starts up here?
I thought it was good. Just like last year, I switched to GRT this year, so I brought my brand new car down here. Got roughed up a lot. I was happy out of all the racing that I did. We started our week off at Southern Raceway in Milton. And then I ended up, I think it was the second night there, I made the A, had to go through a B to get there. So I ran into a lot of ups and downs this week. We replaced almost the whole deck on my car in all them races, but my guys never stopped. We just kept trying and trying even when I felt defeated. So it was good. Like the last night felt really good.
Yeah, no. Ended the week with a fourth at Deep South after the week you and your team went through.
Yes, that was amazing. I remember I started on the pole at Northwest, I believe our second night there. And I don't know what the heck happened when I went into turn one. Me and Joel Rust were side by side. I don't know if I got into his door a little much or I was too heavy on the brake, but my engine stopped, wouldn't restart. They run it one and done down here. So I immediately got black flagged and had to come out starting 16th for the B feature. I had one of my good guys, Melvin. He came into my trailer and he was talking to me for probably 15 minutes. I was ready just to load the car up at that point, and move on to the next track. And he's like, just go out there and just elbows up, just do it. So I did, and I actually drove it up to fifth. So I was one spot out of the transfer, but I was close. But Deep South, a lot smoother track.
One spot out of the transfer. I mean, were you happy with that, or did that just
I
irritate you even
was.
further?
It was
Okay, I
no,
wondered, if you go, man, I had a fast car and we didn't make the show.
Yeah, I was just happy to be able to drive it that far forward, avoid all the wrecks on my way there, and it felt good. That was worth it for me not to transfer. Obviously, I came down here to make every A, but that doesn't always happen, especially when you're on new equipment. It's not like I have 100 races under my belt. I'm still learning this game.
What is the what is the takeaway from down there? Those tracks, is there similarities to what we run on up here? Do they get sandy like we do up here? I mean, what can you take away from these races that you've already completed?
I would say between like Northwest Florida Speedway and then Deep South Speedway, I believe you can take a lot of notes off them tracks. I believe that the Northwest Florida Speedway reminds me of like a bull ring. It almost reminds me of Thunderbird Raceway. I've only been down there twice, I think. It reminds me of that, but the like track surface brings me more back locally to Houghton Lake, maybe like Mount Pleasant Speedway. Crystal's always hammer down. But then like Deep South, talking with a couple guys that race from Michigan, they think it's equivalent to like I-96. So even having a decent car at Deep South might be enough to drag me down to I-96 a little bit this year.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. That track is
Yeah.
wicked. So
Yes.
that would be pretty cool. Hey, I want to say thank you real quick before I forget, because I will forget. I want to say thank you to the Muffler Man in Coldwater for sponsoring this interview tonight. They are so much more than mufflers and exhaust as the weather tries to decide what it's going to do. Mud, snow, ice, those tires are going to be important. Get them taken care of. You don't need to be riding around on those slicks. Okay, right now, when you purchase your tires at the Muffler Man in Coldwater, you'll get a free alignment, ensuring that your investment is protected and made to last. The Muffler Man in Coldwater also handles general maintenance like oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. Find them at mufflermancoldwater.com or call 517-279-9896, a Hankook and Cooper Tires dealer. Cody?
So last year, you spent most of the year at Mount Pleasant and Merritt here locally, made some trips out to Crystal and at least one to Tri-City. Just how do you think 2025 went?
2025 was a little bit more on the track. I faced a lot of struggles there. Like I said, I was in a brand new car then in a different chassis, and I just could not free that dang car up enough to suit it to me. And then like, I don't even think I raced that many nights in 25. We ended up getting another boat. Big decision in that was we have our youngest is a 1-year-old. We realized him trying to crawl around at the track and then start walking, it was very complicated. So going out on the lake and doing that was a little bit easier as parents. That'd be the reason I didn't race as much in 25. Every time I hit the track, I had fun. I wouldn't have traveled to like Crystal. It's an 1.5-hour drive for me. I would have never went down there if I didn't think I was competitive enough to go to them shows. I know at like Great Lakes, I ended up making the Friday night show for the Great Lakes Nationals. I think I led the first quite a few laps. I think I got passed by Mitchell with 4 to go. And I was pretty bummed over that. But that's when I put my deposit on my GRT, was that night.
Wow. Well, we'll talk about that decision, because that's a big deal. I don't think a lot of people realize, when you decide to change chassis manufacturers, and again, I don't know how much time you had with the other chassis, but I mean, you're throwing a lot of work and a lot of notes out the window when you do that.
Yep. So I bought it was a Harris chassis is what I was running. I bought a brand new one in 2023 and then another brand new one in 2025. And that's what I raced last year. It was a good car, very good group of guys in Michigan that helped me out with that at all. But yeah, without saying too much, I think it's great. What I can say good about like GRT, and I think of one of my key guys, seen that this week down here at Clash on the Coast, that helps me a lot. When I picked up my new GRT in Arkansas about 2 weeks before I left for Clash on the Coast. I hurried up, got it home, dropped the engine in it, and then we left week and a half later to come down. Once I told the GRT guys that I was bringing this new car to Clash on the Coast, they actually drove all the way down from Arkansas, and they gave me tech help for majority of the week. They gave me tech help at Southern Raceway and Northwest Florida Speedway. And then they were constantly in talks with me the rest of the trip. But that just showed me I would have never got that before, aside from like my good guys in Michigan, that good group that I deal with. But as far as the owner himself, it meant something for the head guy at GRT to come down, make the special trip down just to help me.
And so now we get ready for the season up here. Do you foresee some more time with that chassis to kind of get to know it better? And I mean, really, the goal is to lead to some trips to victory lane with it.
That's true. Yes, actually, the owner of GRT was messaging me again last night, and he was looking over his schedule. And he wants to make several trips up to Michigan this year. So I think you should see the Wesley Wise is his name. You should see him in Michigan this year with his 7W.
Nice. All right. I wanted to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it coincidence that your car looks so much like the Bowers cars? Because when I first saw that car, I'm like, now wait a minute. No, that's not a Bauer car. All right.
Yeah. So it is kind of a coincidence. When I first got into racing, probably right around 4 years ago, I can't say I ever raced the Pro Stock, but I was the steering wheel holder behind it. I don't think I ever had good moments in it.
Hey, you drove one.
Right. I drove that like 6 nights, and that was black and orange, and I absolutely hated that car. I ended up going to a wedding one weekend, and my dad asked if he could try it out, and then I never stepped foot in it again. My dad ended up buying me a modified, and I've stuck with the modifieds ever since. But as far as like the color scheme goes, I don't know if the black and orange was just bad luck for me, but not only did I change the colors of my car after that piece of junk, I also changed my race car number because I didn't know what was bad luck. So the 19, I chose that. I mean, yeah, it's their number. I chose that based on the fact 2019 was the year I became a father. So I felt like it was important to me. So that's why I did that, added the H to kind of separate myself a little bit.
Yeah, I'll see if we can keep the Bowers from submitting a cease and desist.
Right. But I do hear about it because John Taylor at Sweet Graphics wraps my car every year. And he was saying again this year that Chad walked into his shop, seen my brand new GRT sitting there, asked whose it was. So he told him, and he said, "Oh, why is he stealing my colors again this year?"
Well, hey, it'll make it easier if you guys accidentally find each other on the racetrack. Okay,
that's true. Yeah.
I'm sure the scorers love it too. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Cody, anything to wrap up here?
Yeah, going to a GRT this year after spending a lot of time on the boat last year. Do you kind of see that as some sort of reset going into this year?
I do. I believe the tech support directly from GRT is going to make a difference. I believe that. I mean, I thought I had a good car with my Harris. I could never get it loose enough to essentially adapt to me. I tried and other things happened, and that's fine. But I believe like even the way the GRT feels now and the direct tech support I get right from the head honcho, I feel pretty confident going into this year. I think I'll have a really good car anywhere I go to. And I think it'll be a really good thing.
How much do you see racing this year?
I should be out there every week. So I'll be racing every Friday and Saturday.
I'm sorry if you answered this. Mount Pleasant, Crystal, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, it'll probably be I'll be at Mount Pleasant. It's an easy drive for me on a Friday during the workday. So I'll be at Mount Pleasant probably most Fridays. I always leave. Saturdays is kind of up in the air. If Crystal was less than an hour and a half from me, that'd be a very easy decision. It's just unfortunate some of the things that I guess have happened in the past. The way people get treated. Merritt's only 10 minutes from me. It's hard to say no to that track. But sometimes it's easy. It's just, what are we doing that day? Because for Chris, I got to leave a little bit earlier, but if my kids are all getting along, we'll be at Crystal every Saturday.
All right. There you go. That's a good enough answer. So Oliver, man, appreciate you making time. Enjoy the rest of your vacation down there, my friend. And I appreciate you making time to be on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys inviting me.
All right. We'll take a break and wrap this one up. This is the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial is Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway, featuring outlaw super late models racing for over $20,000 to win. Plus, each lap leader gets a bonus. Open wheel modifieds, trucks, and mini wedges are also in action. And race fans, it's autograph night. Get a chance to meet and get an autograph from the region's best drivers. Advance tickets to the 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial are now on sale at OwassoSpeedway.com. The 4th annual Bob Finley Memorial, Saturday, May 9th at Owasso Speedway.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection news keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. MarkNews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook. Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings, and here's a look at the Mark News upcoming calendar. World of Outlaws continues tonight. The finale at Volusia is part of Bike Week. Sheldon Haudenschild got the win last night. Looks like another great car count tonight.
Yeah, actually, I see heat races are underway right now. Keeping an eye on Casey Jedrzejek. They blew a motor up last night, so we'll see how they do. We talked about it March 7th, Cody, Saturday night. Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club Bowling Tournament. Actually, it's Saturday afternoon, but we'll be there with a special Horsepower Happenings podcast. And I recall now I asked you if you were going to be there, and I'm pretty sure you asked me, do you want me there? So the answer is yes. Come on out.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there. I'll probably be perusing around and doing whatever Noah orders me to. And...
Yeah. He's a problem, isn't he? Oh, he's a problem. Also going on Saturday, there's a little conflict of interest because this is a very important initiative. So if you're not going to come out as a driver or a team owner to the Fan Club Bowling Tournament, check out what's happening in Watervliet, the Lane Automotive Safety Summit. A lot of great things going on there. They've got some technical displays, some panels, and just a lot of things that they're doing over there, Cody. Safety, sometimes very overlooked in our sport, and they've got some great initiatives to try to make sure that it's back in the forefront. And then next week, can you believe it? We are just, what are we? We're not even 14 days. We're down to, I think, 10 or something like that. Attica Raceway Park set to open on Friday, March 13th.
Yeah, Attica, once again, always the first track in the area to open. They always get big car counts, all three divisions between the 410s, the 305s, and the late models. And in that 410, in those 410 division, last 2 years, opening night, have two really great races. Cap Henry getting the win last year. I think it was over Craig Mintz. And then the year before, Bryce Lucius winning with a late race pass on Cale Thomas. So,
and we'll be there. You and I will both be there.
Oh yeah, my third straight year going to opening night at Attica, and you get to go as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Should be good, and we'll have coverage available on Mark News, so the Michigan Area Racing Connection Facebook page. So head over there and check that out. Follow for behind-the-scenes coverage, and I'm sure Cody will post stuff on his KG Media page, too, as the night goes on. So that's going to do it for the program tonight. Want to say thank you to Noah Longyear, our producer. For Cody Geyer, I'm Zach Heiser. Rich France was here for that long. He jumped in. He's partying it up. He's got umbrella drinks, and we kicked him right back out. So we'll have Rich back on the program next week as we continue March's Michigan Motorsports History Month with Sweet Manufacturing. And be sure to check out everything that's going on over at marknews.org. Have a great night. We'll talk to you same time, same place next week right here on Horsepower Happenings.
You've been listening to Horsepower Happenings. The views and opinions expressed in tonight's show may not directly reflect that of Horsepower Happenings. The contents of this program may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or disseminated without the express written consent of Horsepower Happenings. Follow Horsepower Happenings on Facebook, Instagram, X, and all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, and Pandora, to keep up on what's happening.